now tuned in.
Yo, y'all know what it is, man. It's the boy, the kid, the boy, the one and only Moody was here. And yes, Moody is here for another Moody Monday, man. I'm glad to be back in the building, even though I said that last time I was here. But now I'm officially back, man, ready to be on a more consistent basis. Oh, I messed that up again, but regardless, like I said, man, I'm back to be here. And I'm back to be more consistent. I know y'all been missing me on these Mondays, and I'm ready to dive into some things that we had decided that we are going to discuss today. So, first of all, like always, want to definitely give a shout to everybody that make this come together. 102.5 FM, KLEK. Man, make sure y'all go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and do that right now. Go ahead. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Everybody, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome to go ahead and hit that like button right now, because without you, man, we can't go no further. So, man, go ahead and hit that like button right now. Make sure you make a comment whenever you see something that's going to interest you as we go throughout this thing. And go ahead and just make sure you subscribe and sign up and support. You know what I mean? Use that finger other than just for scrolling, and also use that finger for more than just making AI pictures, because that's going to be the topic of discussion today, man. This AI thing that we got going on right now, man. I don't know about y'all, but I know y'all probably have just as much as I have, man. I've been on social media a lot lately. And one thing that's been on social media a lot is these new AI-generated photos of people. Now, I'm not going to lie. I ain't going to hold y'all. A lot of y'all definitely did yourself justice with these AI video pictures, because, man, I've seen a couple of them that has really pretty much blown me away. And I think the crazy thing about it is that they're not so far-fetched, like they're actually believable. You know what I mean? That sometimes you see some people picture and you be like, you know that is not you. You know what I'm saying? You'd added too much here and there and there and here, and you be like, man, that's not even the same person. But these AI generated pictures that they've been coming out with lately had just been just enough to make you be like, man, if I ain't know no better, I definitely believe that this person is that person for sure. But nevertheless, especially if you never have seen that person in a while, say if it's been couple years, or heck, not even a couple years, maybe it's been a couple of months, and then some of these pictures look like those people have had transformations out this world, but it's been just enough, like I said, to where it doesn't blow you away, that it's actually believable. I've seen people like rack up so many likes and so many comments on some of these pictures that they posted, and people legitimately think that's the real version of themselves. So it made me wonder, man, when I started looking at these pictures. I was like, man, is this AI going to take catfishing to a new level? And for those who's not familiar with catfishing is a term that's been around for a little bit of time now. Catfishing is when basically someone portrays themselves to be something other than who they are in order to gain, maybe a relationship, or maybe it's likes on the internet, or whatever the case may be, that they use this as a means of portraying themselves differently than what they actually look. You know what I mean? Just kind of like on Friday, they looking like Janet Jackson online, but when they get there, they looking like Freddie Jackson. You hear me? So that's basically what it came down to, man. So this AI thing, now that was back when it was like we had the bare minimum of Photoshop and everything like that. But this AI, and I ain't talking about Iverson when I'm talking about AI. This AI, man, this thing is different now. This is a whole different type of beast, These pictures, like I said, I can't emphasize them enough. Legit. I'm talking about legit, legit. Ooh. You know what? I ain't gonna miss no opportunity to sing on the radio. You feel me? Because that's always been a childhood dream of mine. But, man, these AI things are legit. So I know you're probably thinking to yourself, what does this AI and this catfishing has to do with mental health? Because, like I said, man, this is the mental health platform. It's a mental health focus, and it got me to thinking, though, man, how will AI affect mental health, in positive ways and negative ways? So for me, like I said, a lot of people know I've come from the fitness area, and one of the things that people, utilize in order to kind of reach their goals is visualization. What am I going to look like whenever I reach my goals? If I stay in the gym, if I stay consistent, and if I continue to push forward in what I'm doing, what I'm going to look like. And honestly, like I said, I've seen a lot of people use that as a motivation for these AI generated pictures. They look at those pictures and they see that, man, what I want is not so far fetched as I think they are. You know, that's really pretty much attainable, you know, at this point. So in a positive light, man, when it comes to like the mental health, I can see where it can be one of those things that where people utilize this tool in order to reach certain goals and use it as a visual motivation in order to like get them to a certain point that they'll be happy with their results. Now, with that same token, I could also see some negative effects when it comes to the mental health standpoint of it. People starting to question, you know what, man, why don't I look like that? You know what I mean? And then it's kind of like at some point start getting to the root of once they start looking at themselves so much to like why it don't look like that, then it's like maybe they play the blame game. You know what I mean? Because I can say for myself, speaking from a personal standpoint, that, you know, I can be one to like do the same thing, play the blame game. I start looking at something and that resembles myself, or even like an old picture of myself when I probably was in my top best peak fitness, and you know what I'm saying, my top peak physique. That was a tongue twister. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, but I got it through and I got it done. But you know, I've looked at pictures of myself and I was like, man, you know, who am I gonna blame for not maintaining or still being at this high level, you know? And I'm gonna keep it a buck. You know, sometimes we as people blame genetics. We might even blame the rigorous schedules of our day, you know, that we're not able to do it tomorrow. You know, we don't have the money to get in the gym or get a gym membership, or like I said, we have kids with family now. You know, back then, you know, I'm able to do more because, you know, it wasn't so much of a demand when it came to like kids or something like that. So, you know, we start looking at that picture and then we start getting somewhat, you know, a sadness around it, to where you start blaming not only yourself but other things that come along with in their life. So I can kind of also see how that can also be a negative impact of that. Also, on a negative end of it, let's just be honest. It can easily turn into a thing to where we're falling in love with a fake image of ourselves. You know what I mean? It's one of those things, especially when I'm thinking from an artist perspective. I avoided drawing a self-portrait of myself for years because I didn't want to actually take the time to kind of look at myself in detail and actually have to recognize what I would maybe say are flaws. Because whenever you do like self-portraits, you have to actually get down to the details in order for it to look exactly how you want it to look. And I'll post a picture of the self-portrait I did of myself. And if you might have seen it already if you've been following me on Instagram or Facebook. But like that was one of the things that I literally avoided doing for years. Like I would draw and I would anything, but when it came to a self-portrait, I stopped at myself. One of my favorite artists is Frida, and she is somebody who did nothing but self-portraits for the most part. And the reason I loved her so much because she wasn't afraid to do self-portraits, and that was one of the things that she was able to be creative with. And she basically, like I said, that's what people know her as. It's the pictures of her and her face. And I actually have, you know, I know you can't see my leg, and especially if you can watch it on the radio. If you're listening on the radio, you can't see my leg, but I have a portrait of her tattooed on my leg, you know. But that's one of the biggest things. But the thing that I tend to worry about when it comes to like the AI, especially when it comes from a mental health standpoint, as people falling in love with a fake image of themselves, and then they get to the point to where they're idolizing that fake image of themselves, and then if they, for whatever reason, like I said, they never achieve that image of what they are generating right now, you know, the wear and tear that can cause on their mind to where it becomes like vigorous to the point to where they get this harder in a sense. And that's something that I don't want to see amongst people, and I hope that I don't see amongst anyone that I know or anyone that I don't know. You know, it's one of those things to actually have a goal in mind, and I'm all about that, having a goal, and you want to reach that point. But when it gets to the point to where that you're so much in love with that, to where if you don't look like that and you feel like you're falling short, and then it becomes such a loss in your book, then that's what I'm not here for. You know what I mean? And then get back to catfishing. Because like I said, that's the topic of discussion. The one thing about catfishing, and I'm going to use this in a way that I feel like everybody can understand. If we buy a product online, right? And you online, you're looking at that product, you see the pictures, you can read in the description and everything. And when it arrives at your home, you buy it, it arrives at your home, and it looks nothing like it is advertised in that picture or it functions, then you gonna want a refund. Am I right? I said, am I right? Am I right? Of course I'm right. So that's the thing when it comes to like catfishing and AI. Listen, you putting yourself out there. You gonna if that's what you're gonna be saying you're gonna look like, and then when you arrive to somebody door and you ain't looking like that, hey, if they asking for a refund, don't be don't be salty about it, because like that's what it really comes down to. But in the same token, I'm gonna play devil's advocate right here. How many times have we watched like a McDonald's commercial? And when we look at that McDonald's commercial, man, oh my God, them burgers look so good. I mean, the lettuce on there looks like it came straight from your grandma's garden. I mean, that mac sauce is just like drizzling down perfectly. And I mean, the tomatoes, it don't even matter because you can already taste it in your mouth as soon as you bite down with it. But then when you pull up to McDonald's, you expecting to see that same thing that you saw on TV. That you look in the bag, and instead of that thing looking like a Krabby Patty, it's more looking like it came from the chum bucket. If you feel what I'm saying, if you're a SpongeBob person, you'll get that reference. So I'm just saying, it's one of those things to where I see these commercials. Every commercial I see, all food commercials on TV, I see them. I mean, every burger, steak, whatever the case may be, man, it looks perfect. I mean, those pictures, like I said, and they could be AI generated as well. They look perfect. But at the same time, I know how to set my expectations when I go to when I go to those restaurants. I don't necessarily think those when I get my meal that it's gonna look exactly like that. That it's gonna give me that exact feel whenever I'm looking at the commercial. So it gets my attention. I'm like, man, let me go get this burger from there right now. Now that I'm looking at it on TV, but when I actually get there, I don't expect it all 100% to be the same way. So can that be said when it comes to AI and catfishing? Even if you're doing the AI thing, when they get there and they're not exactly how they look when it comes to AI, could you give them that, that leeway that you give, that I give, and what I know probably most people do give whenever you're looking at food? I know y'all probably saying, Moody, that's apples and oranges. Hey, it is what it is. I'm just trying to like speak through this and trying to get everybody through it as much as I can. You know what I mean? But another thing I was also thinking about as well, identity confusion. A lot of times I feel like a lot of people get to the point to where they may be tempted in a sense, and they start forget who their identity was. And then once you start losing and you start questioning your identity, that's a whole nother Pandora's box in its own. And for me, that's one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing that concerns me when it comes to AI and when it comes to like mental health in a sense, is identity confusion. A lot of times you hear about actors who they grow tireless of being trapped in certain characters that they portray on TV. That's like Carlton, Alfonso. I don't even know his last name, no disrespect by any means, but if I see him if I was to ever run up on him in person, I would definitely not call him Carlton. I would hope, out of respect, because a lot of times people see these actors and then they just call them by their character name, and that's all they can see them as. And the actors, every time they go somewhere, they be like, oh, that's Carlton, and they try to correct them, but we can't see them past that, and they get upset with that because they're basically a slave to this character. And that's one of the things that I'm concerned about whenever it comes to AI, that we become a slave to whoever we have portrayed ourselves on the internet. So now at this point, you can't help. You have to be that person, even though that's not who you are. And one of the things that I also, listen, I'm kind of a conspiracy theory kind of guy. Now, I don't know about y'all. Years ago, y'all probably remember this show called MTV Cribs. And there's one episode that I remember vividly that I believe it was Shaq that was on there, and if I'm not mistaken, and he was one of the first people. He was going through the house, he was showing all his gadgets, cars, and everything like that. And when he got to this one part, he had a video phone, which is what we now know as like video chat, and like I said, now we have FaceTime. But at that time, like he was like one of the only people that had that. and it blew my mind. I remember even seeing it on Back to the Future when they was in a scene at the home, and the boss came up on the big screen on the TV, and they could talk back and forth with him. A lot of times, just like I said on the episode of Cribs, a lot of times we have this certain technology that's been around so long, but it's only been available to a certain level of elites, and then finally it gets to the point to where it's available for on a consumer level on a day to day for, like, the common peoples. So I start thinking to myself, that's normally the case about a lot of products. We can probably think of a list of things that like somebody else had, and then finally 10 years later or so, it finally became consumer based to where you can actually buy it. Now, it got me thinking, how long has AI actually been around to the level of where it's at right now? And I was like, man, you know what? There's been so many times that I've wondered that has certain things in history been altered due to AI. But the technology wasn't something that we saw on a day-to-day level that we could even believe it to even be not whatever we see what's in our face. You know what I mean? So that was something that, from a conspiracy standpoint, I know y'all probably thinking like, Moody, you just all over the place, but trust me, if you stay with me, I'm going to take you somewhere. But it made me think, how long has something been around from an AI standpoint that we didn't even know that had existed? And now moving forward today, what's going to happen when we start utilizing this AI for God knows what? Because I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I've seen some things on YouTube already that it took me probably 5 to 7 times to realize that it was AI and it wasn't like the actual person saying what it was. I seen this one clip, and it's like probably my favorite clip. It's like this rapper, which is genius marketing. He has different celebrities promoting this one song, and it's probably like a 20 to 30-second clip, but he has Joe Rogan. He even has Obama on there. Shaq. Speaking of Shaq, and you cannot tell me if you watch it, you literally think it's them saying it. The facial expressions, the voice. I'm like, they're really promoting this dude. It, like I said, it took me like 5 or 7 times to realize that it was like AI generated. But nevertheless, that's just my tidbit in it. One of the things I want to like leave y'all guys with before I move on and end the show is that a lot of times when it comes to identity confusion, man, that's like a quick sign that we walking in towards to a certain area of like temptation, believe it or not. Because y'all probably listening to me right now and thinking to yourself, you know what, oh, Moody, it's not that big of a deal. This AI thing, we're just having fun. And cool, that's what it is. You know yourself, and I'm going to trust you to know yourself. But it can easily be one of those things to where don't get caught up in thinking that you're the exception, or don't get caught up in thinking that you don't matter. Like, and I know it sounds the same, but don't get caught up in thinking that you're the exception. Like something like this can't affect you. Oh, I'm just having fun with it, so that's really above my pay grade type deal. Because I'm telling you, the littlest things can creep into your life real subtle, and it'll change and alter your mental state. So I'm just telling all this to say, just be careful. Just be careful with the AI. Don't overdo it. Like I said, it's a great tool. I'm sure that it can be used in order to create some great art in this world, but definitely just be careful with it. Now, that's pretty much my time. But before I leave, I wanted to make sure that I also addressed another topic that was on my Instagram poll. I got on Instagram and I gave people the options to pick and two. And right at the last minute, now the AI thing was leading pretty much all day. And right at the last minute, everybody changed it up and decided to give like a last minute rally to include that they wanted to do something that the other topic, which was, should men go 50-50 with a woman? Now, a couple of people hit me up and didn't know if I meant like on a date or if they meant in the household. But essentially, I was just speaking in regards to, in the household. And I don't have too much time to talk about it, but so I'm gonna give you a quick spiel real quick. And I actually want to invite anybody or somebody to actually kind of get on this and debate it with me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we can do a live later on tonight, it's Moody Monday, so we're gonna have like a Moody night discussion, and let's just talk about it. For me, my 2 cents of it is, and take it with a grain of salt, I feel like it's debatable. It depends on the numbers. Me, I'm a real big numbers guy. And it's something that I feel that, if anything, just discuss it on the front end. So, say it's in a world where, you know what, say I'm going to do 100%, right? Now, if I'm going to do the 100%, then I'm going to be the provider, I'm going to do 100%. That means that I'm also going to make sure that we living within our means. So, I'm knowing that I'm going to be 100% of whatever that looks like for us, like what we qualify as the provider, and that's a whole nother discussion. Like I said, that I want somebody else to debate it with me so we can kind of get some clarity on it. But what one? I'm getting tongue tied. One, what goes on the list of providing? Two, who determines the percentage? Three, is that something that is negotiable and interchangeable as things change throughout the course of life? But for me, it's just, it kind of depends, like I don't have like a clear cut number on that, to be honest. It can be 50-50, it can be 80-20, it can be 100. But for me, it all comes down into like the logic of the situation, the numbers of it, and what that looks like. That plays a lot of factors into it is, careers, inflation in the world. A lot of things have changed, and a lot of things that a lot of people say about this, I guess they're basing it off of, maybe Southern culture, or not even Southern culture, just like whatever the culture has been for this time, or maybe off the Bible. But speaking of the Bible, though, correct me if I'm wrong. That's why I said I feel like that has something to do when it comes to like husband and wife. So husband and wife, if that's not even the case, if you're not even on that level, should you be having a discussion about providing at that point? Because a lot of the things that we're pulling from, picking and choosing, those be like specific to like husband and wife roles. And if you playing house, emphasis on playing the house, and I'm not even saying that in a way to be saying that people that's not together, who aren't married, that are in households, aren't playing house, or that are playing house. I'm just saying that you can't pick and choose. Period. But like I said, I'm ready to debate it with somebody. Somebody put me on some game. Give me some clarity, whatever that case may be. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm about to wrap it up right here, man. Like I said, I wasn't really prepared to talk through that second subject, but like I said, I'll be ready to talk and debate. And whoever wants to get on there and talk it through with me. So somebody be brave. Get in the comments. Be like, hey, Moody, I want to hop on live with you, talk about this 50-50 man thing, whatever it is, And I'm gonna be I'm not gonna be biased. I'm a good debater. So I'm gonna be ready for whatever comes at me, and I can pick either side of the fence. So if you think it should be 50-50, cool, and I'll pick the other side, and vice versa, and I'll be ready to debate for whatever the case may be. But that's my time, man. It's been a great Moody Monday. I've enjoyed having y'all here. So in the meantime, in between time, make sure y'all go like, comment, subscribe. 102.5 KLEK FM, and then make sure y'all follow your boy Moody Was Here on all YouTube, Instagram, and all these platforms that we find us on. I see y'all when I see y'all, but most likely I'll see y'all next Monday. Peace.